Knock, knock. Who's there? It's me, the big bad wolf. Hello, how are we doing today? For those of us who have lost count of the days, it's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. I know every day seems like a holiday, or every day is a holiday, but today is Friday. And you know what it is? It's Just Ask and Fun Friday o'clock. So during the week, I had a session with parents of preschoolers, and I facilitated a phonics activity or a phonics session. And there were pretty amazing questions and interesting questions, that the parents had to ask. So today on Just Ask, I'm going to be handling those questions for the interest or, for the sake of those parents who, of course, were not at the session. So this will definitely be of help to you for your children who are in classes across the early years. So I'll go straight into the questions. And the first one says, my son can identify some sounds but can't join words yet. Okay, so when I saw that question, the first question I asked was, how old is this child? And the mom said he's about 2 years plus. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to be in a hurry, right, for him to start putting words together. But it doesn't stop you from starting. It doesn't stop you from, giving it a go. Now, what do? Your child can only put words with sounds he has explored. So if he knows some sounds, for instance, like the Jolly Phonics, program, if he knows the first sounds, in the first block or the first phase, he can put 2-letter words together. For instance, sat pin, he can pick as, at, in, right? And he can put those words together. But you're not going to give him words to put together with sounds he has not explored. So it cuts across the same thing all the way to reception, not just preschool. They can only put words together with sounds they have explored. Right? So even if they know sounds and they've not started putting words together, you can help them. Just like I said, using flashcards, using pictures, using, sound hunt. You can help them to put those words with sounds they have explored. So the next question says, what expectations should parents have for reading for 2 to 5 year old? Okay. So when I saw that question, what I did was to break it down. Now there's the sound level, there's the word level, there's the sentence level. You cannot move to the next level without fully exploring the previous level. I'll tell you what I mean. Now, before children can get to the word level, before they can start blending and reading words, they must, like I said, they must explore sounds. Now, it's the sounds they've explored that would help them to read words. Now, it's the words they've explored that would help them to read sentences. It's not rocket science. There's no shortcut to it. It has to be from one level to the other. So what the expectations parents have at times are too high. They expect a 3-year-old to be able to read big words. Of course not. Now, that brings me to the next question because they are linked. And it says, my child is 4 years plus and can read 3-letter words. Now, I'm 100% sure that if you check the foundation of that child, the reading or the sound level was not well explored. Now, for CVC words, that's consonant, vowel, and consonant words, you must use sounds. You must use sounds. Now, I'll give you an example. If I'm to write the word cat, right? This is a consonant, this is a vowel, this is a consonant. Now, if I don't know that these are sounds, or if I don't know what sounds these letters make, I can't read this word. Because like I said, even as an adult, C-A-T doesn't spell cat, right? K-A-T spells cat. So if the child has not learnt it on the sound level, he can't move to the word level and he can't move to the sentence level. So all you need to do is to ensure that that child has grasped the idea of the phonemes, has grasped the idea of the single sounds, and is able to identify, is able to, know them when he sees them, and then he can put them together to make words. That is the only way you can actually achieve reading at the end of the day. Okay, so the next question says, okay, so I've seen that my 4-year-old can't read words. My 4-year-old can't read CVC words. Okay, now the next question, I've handled that one. The next question says, my daughter is able to put the sounds together, but hasn't started reading fluently. Okay, so what I did was, the parent said, okay, that her child can, like you have the word here, act. So her child is still doing the gappy phonics, of course. So she's still doing act. So when she sees a word like sat, she goes act. And the parent said, oh, I really want her to be a fluent reader. And there's a trick I use. So I told her, I said, for instance, I have a word like sat, right? And I know it's at, but because I want to move the child from being a gappy reader or from doing gappy phonics to doing smooth phonics, what do? I use my finger. So I just run it through and I say, okay, mommy doesn't stop. I don't stop till I get to the end. I'm going on a journey, right? So I don't stop till I get to the end. So we go sat, right? I didn't stop. So the child goes with the finger, sat. And then I say, okay, can we do it a little faster? And we go sat. And we keep going, we keep increasing the tempo, sat, sat. That way, you find out that the child becomes a little smoother than what he or she was reading before. Now, there are different tricks you can use. We just have to try to be creative so that our children are not given so much to do and they're not being put under a lot of pressure. Right? So these are some of the questions that were asked, and I got questions like, oh, my child is 3, he knows some sounds, he can't put them together, we're far behind. You don't have to put your child under a lot of pressure. Don't be in a hurry. The child, I always tell parents, early years is a foundation stage. If the foundation is wrong, their primary school, they will struggle. So as much as possible, let's not rush our children too much. Let's follow it. Once we follow the sequence and we take them skill by skill, they will gain mastery. And once they gain mastery, every other thing will be a walk in the park. So I hope today I've been able to answer some questions that have been, boggling your mind, and questions that you've actually asked, oh, how can I solve this? I hope this video has helped you to has answered some of those questions. Yes, I'm sure you're wondering why I have my glasses on today. A lot of screen time. The screen time has increased. So I just want to use this, as a medium to tell you, dear parents, that you should, even as your children are doing a lot of virtual learning, a lot of screen time, they're looking at the screen so much. In order for us not to spoil the eyes of our children, of course, let's take some breaks, right? Let's take some time out to let our eyes rest. Let them go out in the sun, right? Let them play around, but at least let's reduce the time they spend looking at a screen. Okay, so that's it from me to you today. Remember, stay safe, stay home. Have a beautiful weekend.